Chemical writing and naming refers on how to name the chemical formulas properly as well as reading it. You can't just write nor name chemical formulas in an instant, for there are a set of rules and guidelines to be followed to avoid confusion since we are dealing with these highly delicate materials. So here we go. First rule is that cation elements or the positive ones are named or written first before the negative elements or anions. But which is which? It will be better if you are familiar with the periodic table of elements. If not, good thing that the periodic table of elements has a one good arrangement, so it is easy to know which one is positive or negative. Cation are elements that are usually metal and metalloid, while anions are non-metallic materials. It is easier to distinguish which one is positive and which one is negative when you already know the area where the metalloids are found. Metalloids are cation elements that is easy to find in the periodic table of elements, for the way they are arranged resembles stairs in a decreasing manner. These are highlighted by the orange area in the picture. Now, everything else in the left of metalloids are all metals, including the additional elements below. But there is a special element in the periodic table that is one on the left of metalloids but is not a metal. It is the first element, the hydrogen. Hydrogen is a non-metallic element which makes an anion. Other anions are found in the right portion of the metalloid stairs. So the important points in the first rule is that cation comes first and is followed by anions. Another is cations are positive elements that are usually metal and metalloids. And anions are the negative elements that are non-metallic elements. The second rule of chemical writing and naming has something to do with numbers. There will be instances where you will see superscripts and subscripts after an element. But what are the difference between these two? Superscript numbers refers to the quantity of positive and negative charge an element loses. However, subscript refers to the number of atoms of the element. So if you have two atoms of hydrogen with a charge of -1, and since hydrogen is an anion, it will be written as. But if the element is +1, you may or may not write it. Third is the prefix and suffix rule. It is quite tricky, for you still have to know the kind of it, if it is ionic, covalent, or an acid. Luckily, there is an easy way to remember it. Let's take it one by one. Ionic compounds are a combination of metallic and non-metallic elements and named following the first rule added with the suffix -ide. A sample of it is a salt, which contains sodium and chlorine, and it is read as sodium chloride. Covalent compounds, on the other hand, will contain only the non-metallic elements. The added suffix is always -ide, but the prefix added depends on the number of atom the element has. If the element has 1 atom, then you will add the prefix mono. If 2, then di, and so on. For example, we have a carbon with oxygen that has a single atom. It will be read as carbon monoxide, since oxygen has only 1 atom. If the first element has only 1 atom, you may not write the prefix else that you should just like. If you have 2 atoms of nitrogen and 1 of oxygen, it will be dinitrogen monoxide. Last is the acid compounds. Acid compounds always contain hydrogen in the beginning with added prefix and suffix depending on the number of atoms. However, there are atoms in the oxyacid compounds. Common acid compounds are compounds of hydrogen and another element that is not oxygen. Common acids are named as hydro plus the element plus IC plus acid. So if we got hydrogen and bromine, it will be read as hydrobromic acid. On the other hand, oxyacid compounds contains hydrogen, a second element, and an oxygen at last. Handy enough that there is a table that could guide us.
Created using Powtoon.